Part 31. Let's talk about cooking. Question number 1. How often do you make food and eat it? For me, I actually enjoy food. I have traveled internationally, so I've tried different foods from all different countries, and usually when I go on vacation somewhere, I go to a supermarket and I get their special regional seasoning, like Thailand curry or Japan okonomiyaki, Mexico spices, America, there would also be like meat rubs and spices and sauce packets. So for me, I do make food very often in my home. It's usually for myself. So I would probably say I make one meal a day. If I eat 3 meals a day, I would say 1 or 2 would be made at home. But usually I eat about 1 or 2 meals. So usually 1 meal or 2 meals a day. And then I would have takeout once a day as well, or something from a store once a day. As well, usually if I'm having in the summertime when the weather's nice and we are having a picnic, I actually would like to make something for the group of people. So usually I make like a big salad in my home, or some type of grilled meat or sandwiches for my friends to share at a picnic. Question number 2. What's your favorite dish to make? I would say my favorite dish to make in my home, I have a mini toaster oven. So actually, I like to cook full chickens in my home to make. Usually I'll eat half of it, and how I make it, either I will use just some salt and pepper and kind of brine it. Well, so I'll make kind of like a pickling of brine and soak the chicken in a bag for about a day so that it picks up some of the brine, and then when I cook it, the moisture stays inside the chicken, as well as often when I go overseas and I'll go and visit a supermarket and find a seasoning packet that is used for that country's style of cooking chicken. And then when I return home, when I go to my home back in Korea, I will then maybe once a month make a special chicken season for myself in my home. Question number 3. Have you ever cooked for someone? Yes, of course, I've cooked for someone. So usually, in the summertime when the weather's nice, I'll actually cook. If me and my friends are having a barbecue or a picnic, I'll cook a dish for the group of friends. Yeah, either like meat related or pasta, like our Italian dish with pasta and sauce, as well as when I'm dating a girl, either the 3rd or the 4th date, I would invite the female to my home, and I would actually cook her dinner. And so there'd usually be like a meat dish, either a beef or chicken dish. Then I actually use Canadian spices and rice and a little bit of bacon to make like a cream bacon risotto, and then a salad. So I use my hobby of enjoying cooking to also impress females sometimes in a date. So I want to show them like the flavors that I like and I want them, and usually they enjoy it. Question number 4. Who did the most cooking in your house when you were growing up? In my house, when I was a child, my mother would do probably 4 or 5 meals a week of cooking dinner, and then my father would do 1 or 2. Then we would also have a takeout night. That would be usually on a Friday. But then as I got into my teens, one of my household chores was actually cooking dinner for the family. So when I was in my teens, it would be probably my mother 3 times a week, me 2 times a week, and then either my sister or my father the other remaining time. And then there would be different meals each day. We'd have probably a spaghetti night, a barbecue, a pork night, a chicken night, a steak night. Then there would also takeout night. So it was like the North American style of food. A hamburger night too. And then a different side dishes. So usually it was, when I was a child, it'd be my mother and father. Then when I was much older, it would be me and my mother predominantly, the ones that cook dinner in the house. What would you like for your boyfriend or girlfriend to cook for you? Really, it depends. I would like for my girlfriend to actually cook the food that she grew up on. So I would be interested to know what style of food that her parents made for her and like how it tasted. There's a difference between the food that culture's food that is eaten in the restaurant and then that culture's food that's eaten at home. Usually each family has a different spin or twist on the method of making this food. So I would like to see, if my girlfriend was to cook food for me, I would like to see how she grew up learning this recipe and how it tastes. So if it was in Korea, my Korean girlfriend, usually they've made bokkeumbap for me. Then the Western girls, Irish girlfriend, made Irish stew. And also I had the corned beef. I had a French Canadian girl. She actually wanted to introduce escargot to me. Then I've had British people too. So like there's also like they had dumplings and steak stew, barbecue. So usually the style of food that they grew up eating, it would be something that I would like to have them make for me. Okay. Question 6. Does your father cook? And if your father cooks, what do you remember? My father is an okay cook. He's able to follow instructions. So usually when he would make food, it would be, he would make basically something grilled or fried. So grilled in the summertime on a barbecue. In the winter, when it was much colder outside, he would just cook some type of meat in the frying pan. And that would just be seasoned with salt and pepper. And then the side dish would be kind of an instant side dish, either a macaroni, a pasta, or scalloped potato, a seasoned potato thing. He didn't go in depth in making food. He just did the bare basic. Was he an okay cook? It's all right. One thing my father does cook very well was actually fish. We had trout and salmon because me and my father would like to go fishing and bring the fish home. And then on Sundays, Sunday lunchtime, he would cook up a trout for us with some potatoes. And it was good. It was just simple salt, pepper, but then he would use bacon grease to cook the fish on. And so the bacon grease, because it also has like the rendered pork fat, was mashed very well with the trout and salmon steaks that he would cook in the frying pan. So that's one thing that he cooked very well. Number 7. Would you like to start cooking if you could learn to cook from Baek Jong Won? I'm not familiar with this chef, maybe, but I'm assuming that it's a very famous Korean chef in Korea. Yeah, if any opportunity to learn from a famous Korean chef would be amazing. I'm sure that he has a great knowledge of Korean recipes and tips that could help make the food delicious, as well as things that I've never even tried to cook in my home. He would be able to introduce those to me and show me how a traditional Korean food is cooked. Question number 8. What is your favorite food from other countries? For me, food that I like from other countries are foods that I was not familiar with as a child. So in my family, a lot of our food was either boiled, grilled, but lightly seasoned. Most of the foods would just be seasoned with salt and pepper. The strongest seasoning would be onion powder. So these days, the foods that I enjoy from other countries are foods that have a variety of different flavors, but mostly I like actually spicy in my food. One type of food I would say I like is either Mexican food or Thai food. Both these styles of food mix different flavors very well. It's a melody. So when I've gone on vacation to Thailand, I've actually taken courses, and the chefs that were teaching it, I would tell Thai cooking is a mixture of 4 flavors: spicy, sweet, salty, and bitter. So all these 4 things you would find in Thai cooking, in Thai curry. Spicy would be your peppers. Then the sweet would be the coconut milk. The salty would be fish oil, fish sauce. And then this bitter would come from the vegetables, these strong, like turmeric vegetables. I can't remember the name of it. Or turmeric vegetables, but so like plants, ground up stuff. So that would be like a very earthy. So that stuff as well in Mexico, they have very spicy food, but also they mix cilantro and cream sauces on those, and with also savory notes of meat. So those 2 styles, Mexican and Thai, I say would probably be my favorite styles of foreign foods. Question number 9. Do you prefer cooking at home or eating out at a restaurant, and why? I enjoy maybe eating out at a restaurant more, just because I like cooking in my home, but I hate the cleanup process of it. And even the more complex the thing that I make in my home, the more utensils, pots and pans, and even areas I have to use and then later on clean. So for me, cooking, going to a restaurant and eating is a much better experience, not just because I don't have to clean, but also the food that I'm eating is special to that one restaurant, and that they know how to cook it well, where if I cooked it in my home, I would just be experimenting. Question number 10. What would you choose between an ugly wife who cooks well or a pretty wife who can't cook? I would choose the latter, a pretty wife that could not cook well, because I already have, I can cook well myself, so I could kind of teach a pretty wife how to cook well. So I don't want to sound shallow. You could teach cooking, but you can't teach pretty. So I would take the pretty wife that knows nothing over the ugly wife that knows everything, if that makes sense. So that would be my choice. Hi, everyone that's watching this. My name is Jeff. I am from Toronto, Canada. I've been coming to Qualcomm now for 2 years now. It's an amazing environment. I've met so many important people here. The atmosphere is great and friendly. There's not just Korean people trying to learn the English language, but there's also international people here too, trying to learn other international languages. I've met people from China studying Korean that I've also been able to speak Korean with. There's also groups of people that are studying Spanish here as well. It's just such an amazing thing. That's why I've been coming here for 2 years. So if you're interested in meeting not just the local people in Korea, but also international people that have international interests and want to share their culture, you should come to Qualcomm.